All right, let's get to discussing some of our information we just reviewed. Here we go. Describe how you would open a PC case to access the motherboard. How would you open a PC case? I don't know. Maybe use the latch. They're usually just a simple latch. They used to have screws. But here's the important part. Power down the PC. Remove the power cables to the motherboard. With the power cable removed, hold down the power button for a few seconds. And this is an IT trick or IT magic. And this will drain out the motherboard's power from the CPU, inside the RAMs, all the capacitors. And this makes it a lot more safe to work with. Then we would remove any screws that are holding the case and expose the inner workings to that computer. At the rear of the system case are slots for adapter card ports. Why should these be covered with blanketing plates if not in use? Why should they be covered? Sorry about that. There goes my sound machine. Why would they be covered? Well, we said overheating. The fan system is designed to draw cool air across the motherboard and blow out warm air. So large holes in the chassis disrupt the airflow, resulting in overheating machines. Why else? Well, you could keep out dust. And here in this great state of Florida, we have these little tiny lizards, these geckos. I found little lizards inside of computers because people left a little case door open. So there are a lot of reasons why you need to make sure you put them back on when removing and replacing expansion cards. What is the main function of the chipset? What is the main function of the chipset? Anyone? Anyone? Drum roll. The chipset provides controllers for the CPU to interface with. The chipset is definitely in charge of memory. Expansion buses is an example of what the chipset is responsible for. And adapters to provide functions such as video, audio, Ethernet, wireless, all to the motherboard. The chipset is responsible for all that communication happening seamlessly and getting the information to where it needs to go. True or false? The RTC, the real-time clock, controls the timing of signals between the CPU and other components. The real-time clock controls the signals between CPU and other components? That does not sound correct to me. I'm saying false on that, and so did you. The system clock is the drummer. The system clock is the drummer that controls the timing. The RTC, remember, just keeps date and time. That's what happens. So when we unplug it and put our computer in a closet for 3 months, when we pull it back out, it miraculously knows the date and time. That's from that little CMOS battery. All right, what type of socket is used to install system memory? What type of socket is used to install system memory? I see you out there cooking. I see you thinking. Boom. DIMMs, dual inline memory modules. DIMM slots are always the memory banks, is another word of saying DIMM slots. And that's where we put our RAM chips in, which we'll learn all about in a later chapter. So you have a x8 PCIe storage adapter card. Can you fit a x8 into a x16 slot? Things that make you do that, right? Well, you can, actually. And this is nice. This is one of them really cool features of PCIe, because let's say you bought so many cards that were x4, and now you have no more x4 slots. But you do have an extra x16. Can you put a x4 or 8 into a 16? Yes, you can. Now, depending on the motherboard, will it downshift the speed correctly? On some motherboards, it may only function as a x1 device. So you may be sacrificing a x16 slot that has all this throughput, and you're putting a device in it and it's only going x1 speed. All right, so let's try not to do that, but we can in a pinch. What is the bandwidth of a PCIe version 2 by 16 graphics adapter. Well, since there's 8 gigabyte per second in each direction, makes it full duplex. Duplex is not just a wrestling move, it's a communication standard. So full duplex means I can talk and you can talk like on a cell phone at the same time. Half duplex, this is kill shot, just like a walkie-talkie, right? Half duplex has to, you talk, let go, someone else talks, let go, like an old walkie-talkie. PCIe version 2 supports 500 megabytes per lane. All right, here we go. Look at this motherboard. Well, we're looking at this motherboard. Tell me what type of motherboard this is. Tell me. I want to hear it. Do you know what type of motherboard this is? Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. It is a ITX. How do we know it's ITX? Because it is 6.7 by 6.7. So noticing the measurements, pretty much you can look right over at a table and go, oh yeah, that's in a mini ITX. That's a micro ATX. That's an ATX. You don't have to get all geeky with it. You just know what the sizes are and boom, you know what motherboards look like. So this one says 12 by 10, which is really 12 by 9.6, but we're not going to yell at them. So if it's 12 by 10, what type of motherboard are we looking at here? All right, you know it, you know it. Tell them, Sam. That is an ATX. Good job. You know by the size what it is. Now remember, the ATX board allows for the most amount of expansion slots, the most amount of DIMM. Your ATX motherboard would be used to build a gaming PC, a computer aid design, graphics type machine. So anything that you need a large amount of input devices, a lot of RAM, you want to go with the largest available motherboard. Whew. All right, folks. So we just went over a bunch of stuff in that topic B, which was PC components. We talked about motherboards. We talked about PCIe. We got exposed to PCIe by 1, by 4, by 16. Remembering that we're using serial communication, which is like turning on a fire hose, and all the information can go up and down each highway lane. By 4 highways, right? So we talked about that. We talked about chipsets, traffic cop. We talked about the timing, which is the drummer of the band, the system clock. We talked about the real-time clock, which just holds date and time. So we went over a lot of concepts there. One of the nicest things we're going to do and put together for you guys is pay attention under the resources for this whole curriculum, because all these slides are going to be put in a PDF format. So you can use them and study through them, because there's a lot of detailed information on each slide here. I don't expect you to memorize all this the first time you hear it.